right, let's get up here real quick. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 1 of the Tournament of the Gods. Sorry, lighting's really bad right now, and I don't know why. I'll open up my window real quick, see if that helps. We'll use some natural light. Screw artificial light. Who needs it? All right. Well, I think that's a little better. Oh, computers. Anyway, let me remove it from this glass case here. Inside this glass case are my 3 Egyptian god cards. Now, yes, these are the original style, and in a traditional game, these would not be allowed to play because the backs are colored. And so even in card sleeves, it would be pretty easy to tell when your opponent had one of these 3 cards in their hand. However, I'm not going to a tournament anytime soon, and I'm hosting my own tournament with all the decks that I've made. And if I say I want to battle for the god cards, well, by gosh, we're going to have a tournament for the gods. So I'm going to put these in a case. So now, the way this tournament's going to work is there's 16 decks. Basically what I did is I went through the show, the manga, the Japanese versions of the show where stuff got edited out. If you haven't seen the Japanese version of Yu-Gi-Oh, it's absolutely wonderful. Especially season 1. Instant greatness. Anyway, what I did is I went through all of Yu-Gi-Oh, which is the original TV show, and Yu-Gi-Oh GX. There shouldn't be anything 5Ds, anything Zexal, anything Arc 5, any cards like that in this tournament. These are all going to be retro cards. Well, about as accurate as I can make them without spending more money. So yes, 16 competitors, single elimination duels, which will be held live here on the channel. I have a buddy of mine who is going to help me out with some of these duels. So yes, however, what I thought I'd do before I pull pairings and we get the tournament started is I thought I'd give the viewers, which is you all at home, thought I'd give you all a chance to kind of see what decks are in this tournament. That way you can kind of pick your favorite, who you think's going to win. All these duels are going to be completely unbiased. They're going to be somewhat lax anime rules. For example, my first deck that I'm going to show you today is the Elemental Heroes. I have the Neo-Spacians, which is another type of monster that this character used, but I don't have the Neo-Space spell cards yet. Because of that, I'm just going to play it when it's kind of like Duel Links, which is a video game where all these characters have different abilities. Yugi has Shining Draw, which means in a certain situation, he'll be able to activate it once per game. So that should make things very interesting. It's not little boy Yugi, it's a Tim, the Pharaoh. So what's going to happen is he's going to get down to, say, just any point in the game. He can pull any one card from his deck. But once he uses it, it's done. So if he pulls it early on and gets a Monster Reborn or something that can help him take advantage early on, but then he falls back down into a hole, he can't use Shining Draw again. Kaiba, I can't wait to show you all his deck. For those of you who don't know, he's kind of the anti-hero of the original TV show. He starts out as a jackass. He's kind of stuck up, snobby, rich kid. Doesn't believe in any of the magic that's going on, any of the darkness, Shadow Realm stuff. And he's kind of cynical about everything. But what we're going to do is I thought I'd start out with, I just kind of grabbed the first deck from my box, actually. For those of you who want to see, every divider you see here is another deck that's in this tournament. There's 16 total, not in the box. I've got one out on the playmat, so there's 15 in the box. And it's literally every character that I could think of that I could go out and I could find basically anime and as accurate as possible, basically. So first things first, elemental heroes. How would a player look to play elemental heroes? That's kind of what these deck breakdowns are going to be. I'm not going to show you every single card because, good Lord, that would be like a 45-minute video. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to show you some key monsters. The main thing with elemental heroes is you're looking to get your fusions out, which, for those of you who don't know what a fusion monster is, it's when you take 2 cards and a polymerization card, so 3 cards total, but 2 specific monsters, you fuse them together, therefore sending those cards to the graveyard, and then you get to summon one of these awesome fusion creatures. Now, Elemental Heroes has a bunch. Actually, out of any deck I have, besides maybe my Zane Truesdale deck, we'd be ready to roll. So the main point of the Elemental Heroes is you want to get this guy out, Flame Wingman. He gets a definite attack bonus per play. Actually, really, really nice. Another elemental hero you're going to look to get out is the Neoses. Now, Neospatians are actually kind of cool because they do something called contact fusion, which means you can take, I'll give you an example of this. Say I'm going right here for elemental hero Flare Neos. Now, he's a fusion monster of Neospatian Flare Scarab and elemental hero Neos. So what I'd have to do, traditionally, if they weren't Neospatians, is I'd have to send elemental hero Neos and Flare Scarab to the graveyard with a polymerization card, and then I get this guy. However, the Neoses are kind of a special thing. They, as long as you return them back to the extra deck after the turn they're summoned, they can contact fuse. So instead of going to the graveyard, they just kind of combine together. And then you play that guy. Either use their special abilities or attack or whatever you want to do, whatever play you want to make with them. And then they go back to the extra deck. And your monsters are back in your hand. So you kind of can just keep recycling the effects. And it's really, really nice. Also in this deck, there's a card who, if you've never seen the TV show, you won't know who this is. But if you did watch the TV show at any time, this is Yubel. Yubel was Jaden, or aka this character's deck. This was his first monster that he ever played, ever got. And it was the story of his childhood. This was also the main villain in 6, which is actually towards the end of the last season. This card's very powerful. There's a reason it's a 10-star. This card cannot be destroyed by battle, so you get that right off the bat. It starts out at 0 attack and 0 defense, but its effect. Let me read this card to you. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. You take no damage from battles involving this card. Before damage calculation, when this face-up attack monster is attacked by an opponent's monster, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's attack. So let's say hypothetically, it's a Blue Eyes versus a 0 attack and defense point monster. You go to White Lightning, the Yubel, and destroy it. She's going to activate her effect and hit the controller of the Blue Eyes with 3,000 attack points. Boom, like that. And not only that, the monster that attacked her is destroyed. Can we say glitch card? Absolutely broken. I can't wait to play it in this tournament. I'll be honest, I can't wait for this tournament. Makes me so excited to play. I'm not kidding. It took me a long time to get all these decks together, and I am ready to duel. These duels will not be biased either, based on which characters I like more. What I'm going to do is I might play this open-handed, which means you're going to know all the cards that are in play at all times, and I'll just let you know when I activate stuff. Because will some of these be solo duels? Yes. I will be playing both decks. How that's going to work is I'm completely unbiased. When I play this game, I play strategically to outthink the opponent, or basically to outplay the opponent. In a case where the opponent is myself, not only do I know all the cards that are on at all times, but I also know when I would play them and when I wouldn't. And so I make these decks as competitive as possible. So even if I was biased towards one side, I've done mock duels with some of these decks against each other, not even like trying to outdo anything. And you'd be surprised at some of the upsets. Like every one of these decks that is in here, even if it's not a main character deck, which there's only 2. Yeah, there's only 2 decks inside of this box that I had to make where I couldn't find a character associated with it. Yeah, so that's kind of that. Now, what are some other cool cards in the Elemental Hero deck? Well, you have this guy here, Elemental Hero Prisma. Now, what he's good for, and actually this is a banned card, believe it or not. They ban a lot of the cards in the game, and I don't know why. Well, I do know, because they'd be unfair if you played them. Like Cyberjar, that card's an absolute, oh my gosh, it's a nightmare. You attack it. Okay, so to play that card, you'd set it face down. So a face down monster. Now, when you attack Cyberjar, it flips up and it destroys everything. Everything on the field, everything in your hand. Oh, it's just evil. It's an evil, evil field wiping card. I do not own any of them. I will, though, someday. Anyway, Elemental Hero Prisma has a cool effect. When this card's down on the field, this card can become any monster in a fusion. So, say, for example, I want to get out Elemental Hero Electrum. Now, Electrum requires Burstinatrix, Clayman, Avion, and Bubbleman. Now, I do not own a Bubbleman card. Because of that, I have Prisma. So you're going to see Prisma in these duels become Bubbleman quite often for my fusions. Why don't I have Bubbleman? I don't know. I bought a complete Elemental Hero deck as well as threw in cards that I own to make it better. And there was no Bubbleman. So I don't know exactly how that's going to work yet. I think I have 2 or 3 Prismas in here, actually. That way I can always get a Bubbleman when I need to. But yeah, the main goal of an Elemental Hero deck is to A, overpower your opponent with fusions. Because as you can see, you have 15 fusion monsters. Like a bunch. B, your Elemental Hero monsters will stay on the field if you protect them with spells and traps. And that's honestly what a lot of the spells and traps inside an Elemental Hero deck do. Is they either A, help you find elemental heroes that you need for certain fusions, or B, they protect your monsters, or C, they bring them back from the grave. That is the whole Elemental Hero play, is you want to overpower your opponent as quickly as possible. I'm going to move that down a little bit. Actually, I'm gonna close the window. I think there's a glare. There we go. Still an odd lighting though. I'm gonna have to fix that. So yeah, that's kind of my review on the Elemental Hero deck. If you have any questions, feel free to comment on the video. I will respond to comments. I get notified on my phone when people either watch my video or they like it. Be sure to like and subscribe, and let me know what deck you want to see next. Well, kind of got to tell you all the contestants, don't I? So that's what we'll do. I'll pull all the decks out of the box to finish the video, and what we'll do is you'll see kind of a well, I've got a lot of time before I go to work today. I might do deck breakdowns on all my decks today. I think that might get done. So I'm going to take a brief intermission, and then I will be back with part 2. Enjoy.